Zach Wilson, back to the AFC East? Tim Boyle? Let's talk about it.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
What's going on, everybody? Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Ebby.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your friggin' podcast, baby. And right off the top rope, before we even get a chance to bring in our guest, we have a new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. Shout out to MFC, mother underscore effing underscore choo choo. Ah, beautiful. You love to see it. A new member to the Boy Green Coffee Club, Chance. Thanks for taking a chance. Shout out to MFC for gifting you that membership, baby. And let's flip the switch. We're now 49 members away from Johnny Boy getting his emoji-ized thing. I don't know. I still got to work on the verbiage, okay? We're brainstorming here, people, but that's neither here nor there. 49 members away. Thank you to MFC, and shout out to Chance for joining the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby. Let's go to our special guest. He joins us every Wednesday, baby. Our Jets reporter for Athlon Sports, Nick Faria, graces us with his presence on the move. What's up, Nick?
How's everything going, guys?
It's going good, although I have to say, well, it's going much better here than it is in Miami land. And oh boy, let's just start off right off the top. So here's the latest. Just in case people don't know about the Miami Dolphins situation, obviously Tua is concussed. He's in IR. Minimum out 3 more games, could be even longer than that. So they trotted out good old, reliable Skylar Thompson, who gets hurt in the Seattle game. And wait a second, don't adjust your TV screens. Is that Tim Boyle? Damn straight it's Tim Boyle who's out there. So now they're in all kinds of disarray. Will Skylar Thompson be ready? Is it Tim Boyle? Is it Pro Bowl in a very heavy quotes quarterback Snoop Huntley, or perhaps a former Jets draft quarterback bust? Let's go to Adam Schefter, who said this on the Pat McAfee Show.
You still have to address the quarterback position before the season slips away. In my mind, they have to be making calls. Didn't hear anything back this morning, but there are 3 quarterbacks in my mind that make sense. Now, I'm not telling you that they have or will reach out to any of these quarterbacks, but I think I'd call Denver and I'd say, what would you want for Zach Wilson? I would call Pittsburgh and I would say,
it doesn't even matter what the other names are. Zach Wilson. Oh my good golly. So, and if you didn't connect all that words, Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL Insider, said the Dolphins are trying to save their season. And the first quarterback name that came out of his mouth after saying trying to save their season was, check notes, Zach Wilson, former Jets quarterback bust. And currently their starting quarterback as of this moment is Tim Boyle. Wow. Nick, can you, I'm not even sure if there's a question there, but can you just give us a state of the state on all things Miami? Well, a lot of people said we're going to be one of the top competitors, if not one of the favorites, to win the AFC East outright before the season.
Yeah, I think clearly with how Buffalo's playing right now, that conversation is tilted just a little bit. But don't you feel, Jet fans, you feel kind of like karma is sort of switching on this organization? I mean, this team that is dealing with their own set of injuries, Leaky Fotu, you have, of course, Morgan Moses not going to be playing for a little bit. But all by and large, this team is relatively healthy. Their big-time stars are healthy. And the Miami Dolphins, who said, and their fan base, who essentially said that the Jets' 7-10 season was no excuse just because they lost their entire offensive line and Aaron Rodgers. Well, now we're in a new season, and the Dolphins not only have lost a couple offensive linemen, they've also lost their starting franchise quarterback. And we can debate Tua's effectiveness, if he's a top 10 quarterback, if he's a top 15, whatever it is. We can debate that till the cows come home. But at the end of the day, I still think that Skylar Thompson is going to do everything in his power to play. It sounds like he's more day-to-day than anything else. But the karma that could come for Miami after all the talk that they made last year about Tim Boyle and Zach Wilson and how it's the Jets' fault and everything else, the fact that they could potentially have to throw out Boyle or get significant draft capital to Wilson is NFL irony at its finest. And it goes to show you never want to get too high or too low in some seasons. If it's a lost year for some organizations, like last year was for the Jets, you don't want to throw too much of a parade if your team didn't win a playoff game. And for the Dolphins, the chickens have come home to roost fairly early in the 2024 season. Now, do I think that Mike McDaniel's going to get fired for a year like this? No, I don't think so. But I think if they go out and they win 3 or 4 games without their starting quarterback, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle still on the team, and they were unable to get to the Jets win total last season, boy, does that look badly on this Dolphins coaching staff.
Yeah, and Jared B. mentioned it in the comments. If you guys are unaware, the Dolphins are the only team in the NFL that have not held the lead with time on the clock. You may say, what does that mean? Well, week 1, they got with zeros across the scoreboard. They kicked a game-winning field goal there to get the win. So, like, they have not held the lead, but before a snap. If you want to put it in that way, which is absolutely wild and again somewhat hilarious. I don't think I've ever done this before, Nick, but I'm going to offer it here in Syracuse. The Syracuse Mets and the Rochester Red Wings they're 2 minor league AAA teams. Every year they fight for this thing. It's called the Golden Fork. It's a 4-foot golden fork, and they again, normally the team names are the Syracuse Mets and the Rochester Red Wings, but for a couple nights a year, they switch their name and they become foods. Syracuse becomes the salt potatoes, and Rochester becomes the garbage plates, and they battle for this massive 4-foot golden fork. Now, I've never done this before after only 3 weeks of the season, but I'm presenting you, Nick Faria, the golden fork. Would you like to shiv it into the back of the Miami Dolphins after 3 weeks of the season and put their season, quite frankly, kaput right after 3 weeks of the season? Are you willing to do that right here, right now?
No, I'm not. And
okay.
This is part of the objectivity that I have as as just an observer of the AFC East. I am never going to give up on a team within the first 4 weeks because so many things can happen. Josh Allen could get hurt and turn this entire conversation around. We've seen how injuries affect the Jets offense and their team in general. So I'm not going to give up on a team when the first month of the season has now become a bona fide preseason. You talk to any major coach, you talk to any major executive, they will tell you that the regular season, at least the start of the regular season, isn't seen as important as it once was. You want to get off to a hot start, of course, but there's so many different things, so many different factors that come into play with teams that just make it not exactly the most pressing situation possible. So I'm not going to bury the Dolphins just yet. I will say if we get to October and Tua has yet to show up and this team just looks anemic on offense, I will gladly shiv these guys because they're hanging on by a thread. Turnarounds have happened. We've seen turnarounds happen that have been miraculous for teams across the NFL. This one, though, is a little bit more difficult to determine based on the injuries that they have suffered and the schedule they have coming forward for the rest of the year.
All right, maybe we'll get back into the AFC East later, but another part which could have certainly been the headline of this video if we didn't go in that Zach Wilson direction was the news yesterday, and I will be honest, I saw the news that Aaron Rodgers, of all people, shared on the Pat McAfee show about the Hassan Reddick situation. I got a lot of people bubbling, and I got to consider some of the bubbles, and then I had to go to my college and speak to sports broadcasting students. So I wasn't on Twitter, so I didn't get to see where this story went. I got home and I ate some dinner and then went to bed. So I have no idea if there's been any evolution of this. So I'll just ask you. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday. He was asked about the Disarray Athletic article that came out and poked fun at the Jets for saying, this team is the vibes are terrible and things are going south. And obviously the Jets are 2-1. And Aaron Rodgers was asked that question. And that came apparently from anonymous agents. And Aaron Rodgers made a joke at first that must have been Hassan Reddick's agent. Which, to be fair, when that came out, I said that too. I thought that was funny, but I was just kidding, and it seemed like Rodgers was too. And then Rodgers said, "Well, former agent maybe." And then everyone went, "Wait a second, did he just? Is he just? What did that? How about the?" So I turned that to you, Nick. Did Aaron Rodgers turn in his Jets quarterbacking duties for NFL Insider and shared news that Hassan Reddick fired his agent? What's the story here? Has it gone anywhere else from yesterday?
So really all eyes are going to be on Reddick and his agent, or maybe former agent. I reached out yesterday, haven't really gotten a response. It's been relatively quiet on that front, as it has been for this entire situation. I will say, and I'm going to make this point, Rodgers, I understood what he was trying to do. He was trying to defend the team's honor with all these anonymous sources saying, oh, this is a team in disarray. There's so many problems. He was trying to defend the team and say, no, we're fine. It's okay. These anonymous sources are ridiculous, whatever. By bringing in Reddick, though, and again, he might be 100% correct. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he isn't. But by him bringing Reddick in, is that something that Reddick's going to go back and say, hey, I see this as a joke. Everything's going to be fine. I'm just waiting for the contract I want. Or is he going to sit back and say, oh, this guy thinks he can crack jokes at my expense because I'm looking for a contract worthy of my production? All right, fine. I'll wait another 2 weeks before I decide to show up. I thought overall the entire answer wasn't exactly the smartest decision from Rodgers. I thought even if he just kept out Hassan Reddick's name and he just kept out his agent and the situation about his agent, I think that goes a long way. I'm not saying that this is going to be a huge detriment overall, because it's been relatively quiet on both sides. The Jets have to sort of come to the dance as well to get a conversation and a deal done. But I felt that if Rodgers had just stayed quiet on that front and just declined the rumors and just stated how outlandish some of those concerns were, I think he does a lot more to help the team than hurt the team in this situation.
Let me ask you this, because sort of in that same breath that you were kind of hinting at the end of your answer, there has been a waft that I caught this morning of people that don't really have Jets ties, but some people jumped on it that do have Jets ties that said, whoa, did Aaron Rodgers just throw his quote-unquote teammate under the bus by getting into his business because there's unwritten rules in the locker room? I never got to that level of we're talking about money. I just played for the love of the game. But that, hey, man, you're not supposed to talk about another man's business or even joke or get involved in that at all. Your answer is just supposed to be, they'll figure that out on their own. I'm worrying about my own business. So there was people outside of the Jets world that said, nice, Rodgers threw his teammate and / agent in business out into the universe or under the bus. And I saw some Jets people kind of echoing some of those sentiments that maybe that wasn't the right thing to do. Do you agree with any of that? Is that garbage? What's your reaction to that?
Again, you guys are going to want the emphatic, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm not really going to give that. I don't think it's the end of the world, but I don't think it was smart of him to say that, because if you're defending the team's honor, you don't have to go out and talk about one particular player that isn't there that's supposed to be. The Reddick situation is very complex. It is not just the Jets' fault. It's not just Reddick's fault. There's a number of cascading factors that go into that conversation, that go into that negotiating, that actually play out the situation for how it's been. Rodgers shouldn't have said that. I think we can all agree at the very least, hey, if he doesn't say that, they're probably in a better situation, probably in a better light right now. But the fact that he brought up Reddick's name to me, it's not selfish. It's not him throwing the team under the bus. I just think it's not smart, because Reddick wants to feel valued. He wants to feel that the team is willing, it wants him there. And with the 4-time NFL MVP saying, yeah, it was probably his agent, or former agent, mind you, Reddick's getting bad advice. That's not really a good sign overall. So I'm not going to go out outlandishly and say that Rodgers was an idiot. I'm not going to say that he made a massive mistake. I do think, though, those comments were a little foolish at this time as this negotiating continues.
Fair enough. Let's get back to the AFC East. I saw you tweet in the middle of the Monday Night Football game where we saw a doubleheader. We're going to get another doubleheader Monday Night Football here in a handful of days. But you mentioned verbatim tweet, Bills are an absolute buzzsaw. Jets are going to need to bring their A game in a few weeks. Of course, that is, speaking of Monday Night Football, that'll be week 6 Monday Night Football. But before we get into any future preview of that game, just in general, I guess you already laid it out what you believe the Buffalo Bills are, but in the state of the AFC East, the Jets beat the Patriots. So, okay, put them on the back burner. We just talked about the Dolphins. The Buffalo Bills have won the division 4 years in a row, and boy, it seems like they're in a good position to be very much in the thick of that conversation this season as well.
I'm going to say something that I think Jet fans may be a little surprised with.
Okay.
I think it's great. I think it's great for the Jets that the Bills are dominating at this level. If you guys all can tell me the last time a team has dominated at this level, this way, and has actually won the Super Bowl after just blowing out the first few weeks of the season, you never want to peak early. And I think what the Bills are doing is they're doing a great job of finding ways to win when everything around them isn't exactly perfect. They have a plethora of injuries on the defense, and they have looked very impressive early on. What they did to the Dolphins before the Tua injury was very, very impressive. The Jaguars were considered a potential playoff team, and they wiped them off the map. And then, of course, you have Josh Allen. Without a true number one receiver, looks like the MVP of the league. I think if you're looking at the front runner right now, some people will say Sam Darnold, but I think it's obviously Allen to this point. So in that regard, the Bills look great, and they look like a buzzsaw. And early on in the season, the Jets are going to have to bring their A game for that particular contest. But is that going to be the case later on in the season? Is that going to be the case? Are they still going to be playing like that buzzsaw that we have seen over the first 3 weeks? I have doubts. It's very hard to remain this consistent, this dominant overall. And again, not to say that their opponents are easy, but the Jaguars are 0-3. The Cardinals are 1-2, and the Dolphins are now 1-2 without a starting quarterback. The level of play that Buffalo has gone through, not to say it's easy, but it's been relatively beneficial for the organization. So I look at the Bills as a team that could potentially be peaking too early, which is why what I've loved most about the Jets is that they're just finding ways to win right now. They're finding ways to win. They're getting better each week. With that means that they're going to be playing their best football when it matters most in November and December later on in the season. So I think if you're Jet fans, let the Bills have their fun. Let them be the buzzsaw that they are right now. It's only going to make it even sweeter when you have to go into Buffalo and they're not playing at their best going later on in the year.
Again, we're speaking with Nick Ferry, our Jets reporter from Athlon Sports. We got 400 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, and again, pay attention to the ticker. Clink, clink. 49 members away from Johnny Boy getting his emoji, which would be absolutely spectacular. That would be amazing. So let's see if we could get him there at some point here in the future. Now, I don't want to harp too much on the Jets-Patriots game, which is going to be almost a week ago. What it was, again, although I thoroughly enjoyed being there in person and seeing that beat down in person. That was terrific. But one of the things, of course, coming off of that game was Morgan Moses getting hurt, the veteran right tackle for the New York Jets. A report has since come out that he has a bone bruise and a sprain, and he'll be out anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. I'm curious, what is the vibe in the organization? Are they like, hey, we got Olu Fashanu. Perfect. Exactly for this situation. And we feel just fine that we could get through any of these waters with Olu Fashanu. And is there any lean, for lack of a better word, when you give a range like 2 to 4 weeks, most of the time for me, even though I'm an optimistic person by nature, I always assume the larger part of if someone says, hey, Paul, I'm going to be out of commission anywhere from 1 to 6 weeks. I'm like, okay, so you're gone 6 weeks. That's where my brain just goes. Is there any sense on where Morgan's going to lean on this scale of 2 to 4 weeks? And what is the vibe in the organization? Are they super worried about this?
No, and for a couple of different reasons. First off, Morgan Moses is as tough of a player in the NFL as they come. Remember, he was dealing with a massive injury last year, and he played the entire year. He wasn't as effective, but he is a tough SOB. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
So I don't think they're really worried about it at all. I think there's a chance that he comes back even earlier than the original diagnosis came out. I think there's certainly a chance. And in terms of what the organization is thinking, their thought process is this: thank God we took Fashanu over Brock Bowers. Thank God we took him and did exactly what we needed to do. And listen, I have said this: the Jets should be commended for their draft strategy this year, because they made every pick I looked at and said, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. The Braylon Allen pick in the 4th round. Defensive linebackers are now undersized where they used to be. So you want to have a power back to be able to take advantage. Malachi Corley, we haven't seen the field recently, but he's a project. You have a project in the 3rd round. That's perfectly fine. But then in the 1st round, you could have taken another receiver or a receiver-like player in Brock Bowers, or you invest in the offensive line the right way. You don't throw a lot of money at the position, but you invest in young players. And for Shanu, I had him as my 2nd best tackle, really 1B behind Joe Walt. I loved both of them coming out of college. And the fact that the Jets were able to get him with the 11th overall pick was an absolute steal. He's ready to go right now. If he's playing on any other team that needed him to start week 1, he would have gone in there, and I think he would have had a very good start to his career. Now, he's ready to play right tackle. He's comfortable at right tackle. Is he going to be as dominant if he was playing at left? Probably not. But we're talking about an all-pro caliber left tackle and a very good, probably Pro Bowl borderline right tackle. So Fashanu was ready to go. The Jets absolutely love the situation they're in. You know, they obviously hope that Moses was playing, but
Sure.
You could do a lot worse than Olu Fashanu as a starting right tackle. Let's just put it that way. The Jets know that better than anyone. There's a reason why Carter Warren and Max Mitchell have been healthy scratches to start the season, and it's because they have so much faith in Fashanu. This was a no-brainer. They are essentially thanking the heavens that they were able to draft him where they did.
Damn straight. And again, I will be the first to put my hand up. I wanted the sexier thing of Brock Bowers or one of the receivers and said, ooh, instant impact. That's what I see. Thankfully, Joe Douglas didn't listen to me. He went after Fashanu, who's a player I really loved. I thought he was going to come out the year before, be a top 5 pick. So the fact that they were able to get him is spectacular. And you're seeing it right now. Imagine, again, to your point, a Carter Warren, a Max Mitchell being on the right tackle side, and NFL defense is going, ooh, so that's how we get after Rodgers, and all hell could break loose. So no, 100% makes a lot of sense. You already answered part of my other question was going to be, Olu Fashanu has been exclusively a left tackle throughout his life. So to be jumping over to right tackle outside of what he got in the preseason, some other snaps, I'm kind of curious what kind of version of it, but you answered that, which is good. Excuse me. As we're talking about this team here, again, we have Nick Faria here on the program. Is there any chance, speaking of this right tackle conversation, this is a question I think on a lot of people's minds. So, okay, Morgan started the season, makes a lot of sense. He is a right tackle. Olu Fashanu isn't. But if Olu looks really good in this span of time, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, whatever it ends up being, is there a chance that Olu never gives the job back to Morgan because he's his 1st-round pick? He looks amazing. The Jets go, well, sometimes the gods just have a weird way of working, and an injury can take away someone's job before Morgan goes from starter to, okay, veteran swing tackle. He basically, they do a Freaky Friday. Never thought I'd make that reference on a Boy Green Daily, but here we are. They do a Freaky Friday, then all of a sudden Morgan becomes a backup and goes, whoa, who now? And then he is the insurance policy. Is there any chance of that? And if so, what would you say that chance is?
I think there is certainly a chance. I would say, percentage-wise, I would probably give it about 20, 25.
Okay.
Fashanu would have to come in and, play like an all-pro immediately. Play almost exactly like Joe Alt has done at right tackle for the Chargers, and he has really changed life for them. I know he got beat last week against T.J. Watt, but guess what?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of great tackles have gotten beaten by T.J. Watt. That's nothing to hang your head about. So I think there's certainly a chance. I do think that it's going to be a little bit harder because you've got some really good contests coming up. The Broncos defensive line, to me, isn't something really to worry about, but they've played well to start the season. The Broncos defense has played well. And then, of course, you've got the Vikings defense that has been astronomically great. And then you have the Bills defensive line, which is their calling card. So there's going to be a lot of tests for Fashanu. So I would preface and I would push Jet fans to remain patient. I think Fashanu is going to have a great career. Do I think he's going to replace Moses right away? Probably not. do a lot worse than what you have right now at the right tackle position, so long as Fashanu stays healthy and there aren't any concerns there.
All right, the phone lines are now open, so you guys can start getting ready to jump into the green room to come on to the show. We got Nick Ferrier for a little bit longer. If you have a question for Nick, feel free to call into the show. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, you have to hop on over to youtube.com/boygreen25. You just open up a new tab and get over there. We have about 500 people in the room. So, guys, if you'd like to call and ask a question, feel free to send that in. But another question I have here is, you mentioned this Broncos game that's coming up, and the Broncos blew the barn doors off what was an undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers team in their own house, and now they come in here with a little bit of chutzpah. I'm going to be honest, despite that and the Hackett Sean Payton stuff from last year, I am completely overlooking this Denver team. I think this Denver team sucks. Am I in the wrong here? Should I not be overlooking this team? What say you?
I don't think you should overlook any team in the NFL, because anyone can beat anybody on any given Sunday,
Sure.
to give the random cliche. But I do think that the Broncos are one of the weaker teams in the NFL. I liked what I saw from Bo Nix in Week 3 against Tampa Bay, but Vita Vea was not playing. And Vea is someone that really is the anchor for that entire defense. When he plays, the team is good. When he doesn't, it's not so pretty. So ultimately, I don't think that Denver's win against Tampa should be overlooked. But at the same time, there are other factors to show why it actually happened. And the Broncos defense has been very good, but even against good defenses, the difference with Jet conversations now, you have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Patrick Mahomes finds ways to win. Josh Allen finds ways to win. There's a supreme level of confidence that comes when you have a franchise quarterback that is playing at the highest possible level. That's what the Jets have. That's what the Jets have with Aaron Rodgers. So even going up against an elite defense like Denver, let's call them elite. We don't know, but let's call them elite. There's no guarantee that Rodgers still doesn't torch them, because the Jets have so many weapons along the offense, and this is an offensive-led league. If the Jets play like they did against New England, I think they're still going to win by 2 scores.
All right. That feels pretty good. Hey, by the way, we finally see, and I'm glad I got to see it in person, the first Garrett Wilson touchdown of the season. It was a beaut, a real beaut from old A-Rod making that pass. But obviously, Garrett Wilson hasn't exploded to the level a lot of us thought we would see thus far, of like a crazy 10-plus catch game, 150 yards, a couple of scores, and just go crazy like some of the other superstar wide receivers in the NFL have. Is that eventually going to come at some point? Or perhaps is it just, when Garrett Wilson was on really bad Jets teams, he got force-fed as the top guy and got a lot more action. Here on this team, there's just a lot more pieces, so the ball's always going to be spread around. So maybe Garrett never gets that target share we thought he was going to.
Well, I still think Garrett's an elite receiver, and he's going to eventually get this. What's happening now is NFL defenses are essentially trying to game plan for Garrett Wilson specifically. And with Mike Williams not at 100%, with him recovering from his ACL injury, with Lazard still having a lot of questions about his dependability, the NFL defenses are essentially saying, we are going to let these guys beat us. We're not going to let Garrett Wilson beat us. That's essentially what happened in the Patriots game too. Lazard and Braylon Allen and Breece Hall and Mike Williams, they were just the guys that beat those teams. So you're going to see a correction from NFL defenses. Instead of playing too high every single moment of the game, they're going to realize that too high take a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to open things up for Garrett Wilson eventually. Do I think that he probably would have gotten a lot more targets to start the season? Of course. And for my prediction of he's going to reset the targets record this year, not looking too good right now. But it's going to change, and it will eventually change. There's always a correction that happens with defenses as they try to game plan against the elite offenses like the Jets have. And eventually it's going to come down to Garrett Wilson making a ton of plays in the open field, on wide open passes. I wouldn't be too worried about this if I was a Jets fan.
Okay, beautiful. Because, obviously I do a Jet show every day, so I've got some stock in the game here. But I was like, hey, Garrett Wilson on my fantasy football team. And, I'm 2-1 without him. So, Garrett, that's okay. You know what? That's what happens. That's what teammates do. Is okay. We lift when you're not ready. But I'm gonna need you to eventually show up. That's just going to be the case. Johnny boy, I see that you're waiting in the room. You had some technical difficulty there, so you'll have to call back in to get on. It seems like you're having an issue there behind the scenes, so I will get you on the show here with your guy, Nick Faria, of course, one of the greatest of all time. Again, phone lines are open. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. That is youtube.com/boygreen25. If you have a question for Nick, we have Nick for a few more minutes here on the program. Let me go there, Nick, while we're waiting for Johnny to fix his issues here, is that Aaron Rodgers, one of the big questions my radio partner had, yesterday, with you on the radio. Again, Nick Faria joins us both in the audio-only form on my radio show. It's also available in podcast form. You guys can find that on social media. Plus, we have the video form here every Wednesday. And he talked about the movement from Aaron Rodgers, almost being the kind of final piece to the puzzle from an evaluation standpoint. Because Aaron Rodgers looked good. Again, he hasn't had crazy numbers, but really no one has for that respect among quarterbacks. The numbers haven't been crazy this season, but it was the movement that people were saying, ooh, is that Achilles really back? And after seeing a lot of the movement, it seems like that conversation is a lot different now after that Thursday night game, Nick.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when he shows it once, and it's amazing what happens when you don't overreact to a single game and to start the regular season without preseason work. A lot of people were worried about how Aaron Rodgers looked. There were some, I'm not going to name who, but there were some that even said, well, Tyrod Taylor's a more mobile quarterback, and he needs to be more mobile nowadays to win in the NFL. Maybe they should make a quarterback change. I'm still reeling from that comment because it was just one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. But I will say, Rodgers being mobile right now, like he did against the Patriots, changes everything. It changes everything because I don't expect him to run around as much as he did on Thursday. I also don't expect him to be a statue like he was in San Francisco. So I was very, very encouraged. The fact that he was able to roll outside the pocket and make some plays with his arm and with his legs, very positive sign. He just looks better. And he kind of said that after the game when we were talking to him. He said this wasn't going to be, I'm playing now, so I'm suddenly more mobile. This was always going to be a process. That process is continuing. He was doing really well against New England. Maybe he takes a step back in the next game against Denver. This back and forth could certainly happen. I'm not saying it will, but as part of this process, people need to be patient. You do not want to have your quarterback hit their stride early in the season. You also don't want him getting hurt just because you want to see what he looks like outside the pocket.
100%. By the way, our number one Austrian Jets fan, baby, said, shout out Nick Faria. Always great articles and insight. And yes, Nick dedicates himself to being on my radio show terrestrially here in Syracuse once a week and his video program. So make sure you support Nick, who absolutely surged. If you check out the social media, over 5,000 followers on Twitter X machine. Make sure you follow him. It is at Nick_Faria1720. Make sure you guys hit that follow button for all the juicy insight from Nick Gashdarn Faria, baby. He's one of the best in the friggin' business. And shout out to our number one Austrian Jets fan on the list. All right, let's go to the call-in line. We got Indy Jets here on the program. What's up, Indy?
Morning, guys. How are you?
Excellent.
Hey, you were just brought up the fact of Garrett not having that explosive plays yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that we really haven't seen is Breece Hall go off on somebody yet.
Yeah.
Now I did see, and was it the Patriots game? I think it was the Patriots game. His blocking ability he's always been a good blocker, but now he is. It's almost like he risks his every bone he's got to make sure that guy doesn't. And he hit that. There's one play, and I can't remember if it was the second or the third quarter. It was one of the two of them. He hit this linebacker coming in. He picked up this linebacker, and of course you don't see much of it because they don't highlight the dirty jobs that the running backs have to do. But if you get a chance to watch that, he all but decleated that linebacker.
Yeah, I've seen that one, and also I've seen just Breece Hall just sacrificing his body, like getting shot by a bullet and diving in front of the president. When I've seen just Breece Hall just go, and he just gets hit, and his body comes crashing down to the canvas. I'm like, is he dead? What happened there? But Aaron Rodgers had just enough time. So Breece Hall diving in front of that bullet he did it on 2 or 3 occasions during the Patriots game, and I went like, ouch, that hurt. That's a part of running back no one talks about. But I went, give enough time for old Aaron. Thanks, Breece.
Now, and as great as that is, do you think that will take any toll on him
That's a good question.
Throughout the season? I mean, it's just a thought of saying, hey, maybe this guy's as great a blocker as he is, and and he can do everything. Is that going to take any toll?
I'll answer your question with a question. Why do we think the running back shelf life is as short as it is? Because of these situations, exactly. They're getting hit more than most other positions, and it keeps happening. They just take a pounding. That's exactly why the running back position has been devalued a little bit. That's exactly why they've brought Braylon Allen more into the offense to share touches, to share snaps. Allen's a very good blocker as well. I think we need to give him his flowers. But ultimately, I wouldn't be too worried about the Breece Hall breakout. You kind of saw that against Tennessee. He was really good there. I liked what I saw from New England. But again, NFL defenses look at this Jets offense and say, okay, let's take away Breece Hall, let's take away Garrett Wilson, and force these other guys to beat us. Through the first 3 weeks of the season, all the other guys are beating them. So there's going to be an adjustment for NFL defenses that is going to open up the playbook once again for Hall and Wilson. And again, when you have Aaron Rodgers on the field, a lot of this opens up. And the best player on offense is Rodgers.
And I think that like what you just said, opening it up, by opening it up towards the end of the season is just an advantage for us. As they try to stop these two players, all at the beginning of the season, and they figure out they can't, they're going to have to start focusing. I think you're going to start seeing Garrett. You're going to start seeing Breece really start, towards the end of the season when we really need it, and hopefully in the playoffs. I think maybe they're going to have so much more gas in the tank,
100%.
But I appreciate you guys. We always enjoy your show, Paul.
Thanks, Indy. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, it's a great point by Indy, though, because and it's weird to say, but like on Zach Wilson offenses, Breece Hall had these crazy, and speaking of Denver game, it happened last year. We just took it to the house, and it was just, vroom. There's like a Broncos defender right there. He's like, I got the angle. There he goes. And he's just watching Breece Hall run down the field and mile country. And doing it. There's been a lot of Breece Hall breakouts, and I thought for sure, again, it's only 3 weeks into the season, I said, man, with Aaron Rodgers dealing how I expected him to deal, damn, those lanes for the Breece Hall, like 80 yards to the house, 60 yards to the house, home run hits, I said, those got to be more frequent because the teams are going to have lighter boxes. And then all of a sudden, Breece Hall, once he gets giddy-upping, so to speak, oh boy, he's going to be crazy. But to the point, we haven't seen it much. I can't remember, maybe it was a Tennessee game where we saw like a random 30-yard burst, like, oh, there it is. And then then we haven't seen it since.
Yeah, listen, it's going to take time. It's going to be a process. This is still a preseason for everyone. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall didn't play in the preseason either. So this takes time. This is going to be a development stage. The fact that the Jets are 2-1, could even be 3-1 after the first 4 weeks is very, very important. It's an important distinction for the organization. And all of that looks terrific to this point. So I think we need to be patient on the breakouts for the top two offensive players. It's coming. It just may be a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's get to a couple calls here. Johnny Boy, I think we have him on the show. What's up, Johnny?
Hey. What up, G? What up, BG? What up, Nick? What's going
on,
How you doing,
bro? Johnny?
Hey, so I went back and watched. It's different when you watch it live, right? So compared to when you watch it like on the television and whatnot. And for myself and what I saw, we're a balanced team, man. Like, to what you were saying, Nick, in regards to what other teams are gonna have to, watch for and make sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. I heard you go, make sure, and then you fell off a cliff. But it seems like you're still alive. So yes, go ahead from there.
Dropping the kid. I'm taking the kiddo to school, man. So you guys know how that goes.
All right. Oh, Riley. Oh, he's back. Okay,
I'm
he's
back.
back.
I'm back. My bad. People calling, work stuff. But
yeah, you're a busy guy. That makes sense. You're very popular. I can understand.
I just think I think the squad is balanced. And one of the things that I liked about Aaron Rodgers and what he said yesterday on on the Pat McAfee show is that I need to go back on the tape and look at the stuff that I messed up on, because I did mess up on some things. So this dude is always wanting to get better and just get the team a lot better. We haven't seen that. Like, when you look at the game, you're like, damn, this dude played like super good. That one touchdown to Garrett Wilson, when I was because I was right there in the end zone, I thought the ball was going to get intercepted by Gonzalez. I was like, there's no way in hell that this ball is going to get there. And I was like, holy crap. Like, there's a video legit, because I was taking a video of it. And I'm like, it's going to get in there. Holy shit, he's so good. Like, why is he good? So good. Look, we got to beat Denver. Minnesota's not going to be an easy one, because they look like they're an okay team. But even then, I still think we could beat them. And we got to take care of business against the Bills. It's like what Nick was saying. I'd rather them be firing at all full cylinders, and you have your squad within the Jets right now, and you got Aaron Rodgers says, it's the reason why we got the coaches, and we could continue to keep getting better. And we get better way towards the end of it, and we make that crazy playoff run. So I wanted to come up here to say that. I appreciate you guys. BG, always a pleasure. Nick, keep doing your stuff, man. Last night was a heartache. I threw the damn remote at the TV watching that game last night. I won't say their names, but
we're rooting for a rain out. Rooting for a rain out. Doubleheader Monday.
Yes, exactly. Go Jets, baby. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Johnny, for calling into the show. We'll get one caller in here before we let Nick go. We go to the jet stream, baby. Murdoch.
What's up, Paulie? Good morning, Nick.
Hey, what's going on?
I had a few minutes. My partner's shitting his guts out. So I was like, let me call in. I finally have an opportunity while I'm working.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to say,
vivid picture there. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Let's make sure he washes his hands. So I was reading chat, and I see people like, Reddick, and the Bills. Well, I'll just talk about the Bills. We have Zach Wilson. We've beaten him twice. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, we're losing you now. Yeah, go ahead. I think we got you back.
Okay, I said we've beaten him twice with Zach Wilson.
Yep.
So you got that? Okay. We got exponentially better. We got a Hall of Fame quarterback back. We got a second beast of a running back back. Mike Williams as a secondary receiver. Corley, Gibson's more involved in the offense. Conklin's being more involved. The offense is just better all around. The offensive line is severely upgraded. And Buffalo lost a lot of pieces. Matt Milano's out for the year. They lost Poyer. They lost like almost their whole secondary. Josh Allen is great. He is. But he does play hero ball, and he does make mistakes when it counts. All you really got to do, I would spy him. I would let someone like Quincy or Sherwood just sit back, and when he tries to run, you go follow his ass. But we beat him twice with inferior teams. He got exponentially better, and they got exponentially worse. Just because they put a beating on the Jaguars, it's like, all right, what if they put a beating on the Carolina Panthers? Would we still be like, oh, my God, they're going to kill us? Fucking relax. We're a better team than we were when we beat this guy twice. Take it easy. Stop being so scared of him. We're a great team. We're only going to get better as the year goes on. Yes, he's a great player, but I ain't scared of him. And neither should you guys. Just let it play out. It's like, go in there with confidence. I'm sure he's shitting bricks. My God, now I got to face a better Jet team than I've lost to twice already. So I just wanted to convey that to the masses. And
Yeah,
We're
real
okay.
quick shout out. Yeah, but before you go, Murdoch, I see it. www.youtube.com/the_jet stream. There's one S in there. Jet stream. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it, Murdoch.
Thanks, brother. Boys, have a good day.
All right, there you go.
Yes.
And Nick, thank you so much for taking the time as always, man. And we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it, Paul. Thanks.
There he is, Nick Ferria joining us. Just to continue a little bit on that, and the phone lines remain open. I'll answer a few more calls and questions and comments. I'll just let everybody know, and maybe this will be dumb. Maybe this will be dumb. I'm not afraid of the Bills. To what Murdoch said, we've beaten them 2 years in a row at MetLife Stadium. Week 6, Monday Night Football. Where is that again? Is that Jet Life Stadium, baby? I got no fear of the Buffalo Bills. There's respect. They won the division 4 years in a row. They're playing like gangbusters. I don't think Josh Allen has a turnover so far this season. Excellent. Save them for week 6, please. I'd appreciate that. Great. I'm not afraid of the Buffalo, but I respect Buffalo. But I'm not afraid. I can't wait for week 6. But one game at a time. Denver, Minnesota, and London. Your crumpets and tea and God knows what else. I've never been to London. I'm not sure. And then week 6, Monday Night Football. Let's friggin' go. So I'm pretty excited for it. All right, let's go back. Speaking of all this wonderful food, let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Chef Kevin Gilbert joining us here on the show. Chef?
BG, what's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing excellent, man. Great to see you.
Likewise, man. Great call by Murdoch, man. A lot of positivity, man. For Nick, I just wanted to let him go because if you don't mind, I just wanted to clarify something that was said about me on your show. I'll just do it at the end, but I didn't want to do it while Nick was on. All respects to Nick, he did a pretty solid job. I follow him; he's a really good dude. But yeah, man, South Carolina, obviously, it was a good, cool, relaxing time. Spoke to you, after the Tennessee game or whatever. Felt good about that. Patriots, man, I felt really solid with what was going on, knowing how tough they are, and knowing that the regime has changed. A rookie quarterback, a rookie coach going in. I mean, we saw what happened with San Fran, where the student lost to the teacher. Like that was clear. That was obvious. That stuff is going to happen. And if we saw the Patriots just dominate us, then my man, we would be in a world of trouble. But like what I told you before, man, Salah, we trust, man. The defensive scheme was there. You saw with Rodgers, the patience that he has, the calmness that he brings to the team. The one thing, apologies again for missing you at the game and the tailgate. But
that's
you were
okay.
there.
I heard people tell stories. Let me just tell you that, Chef
Yeah.
Kevin Gilbert. I'm in the tailgate. I'm in the parking lot, and it was like a bum rush. When I showed up, I felt like I was in celebrity. They're like, boy, green, boy. I'm like, boo, 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 boo. And then I heard people say, oh, man, Chef somehow you came up. I don't know why, but why wouldn't you? You're fantastic. But I'm in there, and they're like, oh, Chef Kevin Gilbert, man, he's the man. I'm like, is he here? Where is he? Up, down, left? Where do I got to look? Where do I got to find a Chef Kevin Gilbert? And they just said, oh, man, they're just singing your sweet praise. Like, oh, man, he's awesome. I just met him here. I'm like, met him where? Where is he? I was on. Where's Waldo? Where is Chef Kevin Gill? I was on the lookout, but I did not find. But that's okay, because hopefully we do a lot more of these in the future. We see you, but people were saying all kinds of wonderful things about meeting you for the first time. Said you're the nicest guy in the world. So I trust all those people, and can't wait to check that off my own proverbial bucket list. Yes.
Word, yeah, appreciate that. Shout out to everybody. So basically, I work day, so unfortunately we got there a little bit late, and then with my wife, she had some health stuff. So knowing where your tailgate was, it was a bit of a walk, and it sucks to leave the game early, but my wife's like doing all that good in the fourth quarter, so I just
I hope she's
asked
okay,
her on
man.
a scale from 1 through 10. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. We could talk, on the side or whatever, but
Of course.
some stuff going on. But she didn't want to miss the opener, man. We're season ticket holder. She always goes to the games. If it's not her, then it's my son, a friend or something. But that kind of stuff.
Wow,
goes
what
on.
a trooper. You married the right one, Chef. She was willing to power through for the home opener. Okay. All right. We can only wait to find a woman like that. Good Lord. Okay, hit the jackpot,
you know what I'm
baby.
saying?
Wow.
I knew, and I lucked out too because her twin brother is a
Hmm.
Jet fan too. So like,
Oh, wow.
I literally have no friends that are Jet fans. So
Hmm.
to be able to find the love of my life and for her brother to be a Jet fan, like,
That's
dude,
cool.
I felt like I hit the jackpot, man, for real.
Damn
But to
straight.
go back to
Oh,
Rodgers, man,
sorry.
like,
Right. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
nah, it's all good. Just to about Rodgers, man. Like one thing us Jet fans need to do because we
Hmm.
never felt this feeling before. This
Hmm.
this like focusness at quarterback where he has the control of the huddle. I've never experienced this stuff in my life. So I really felt like us Jet fans at these home games and whatnot, we need to do a better job of shutting the hell up because we're just all chanting Rodgers and this and that. Like when he's on the field, when he's working, us fans, we got to really just quiet it down and just let him go to work because we're all like antsy and excited. We're trying to run the score up and everything like that. It was just, an incredible time, incredible sight to see. The defense is just clicking really well. Obviously, if we get Hassan, that will just, elevate us to another level on defense.
Hmm.
But to piggyback, man, off of Murdoch, like, dude, this team, this defense that we have, we're not scared, man. I say what you want about Josh Allen. I had him in fantasy on my fantasy team a couple years ago. I refused to get him this year. Like, he's a gunslinger. He's just gonna throw it, man. He's not strategic the same way that Rodgers is, and he makes the mistakes, man. These deep balls, Josh, I dare you, man. Throw it deep into double coverage. You're gonna see what happens, just like last year, man.
Hmm.
Pick the hell
Mm.
out of you, man. When
Yeah.
when we had Zach Wilson running onto the field, man. Like this is something where I feel good at. The weapons that they have, okay, Kincaid, he ain't Tony Gonzalez in his prime. Like he's not Kels. Like I ain't worried about him, man. I'm not worried about Cook either. The wide receivers, oh, whatever, man. I mean, we shut down Diggs last year. Talk about
Yeah.
what you want to talk about, man. You see the defense. You see them elevating each game. The biggest thing is just making sure Rodgers has the ball in his hand. When he does that, the team, the defense is allowed to have the rest. Like the team just starts cooking, man. I feel
Hmm.
really good. And most of us talk about Zach Wilson referring to him as a child. All right,
Mm.
he ain't enough of him, man. Enough of him. Thank God he ain't around no more. If he's ever to come back into the picture and we play against him, blessings to you, brother. Blessings to you that you're gonna get demolished. Because I know everybody on that defensive line wants to strangle him, man. Beat him up, get him
Hmm.
out of the game, whatever you want to call it. But Zach, we'll see you another time.
Yeah,
But
we do
what?
play against the Broncos this week, but I'm fairly certain he's QB3, so it'd have to take some
Mhm,
sort of crazy litany of injuries and benchings from them to go to Bo Nix to Jared
mhm.
Stidham to eventually Zach Wilson. As funny as that would be at MetLife Stadium, I'm curious what that reaction would be. Zach Wilson runs onto the field for the Denver Broncos. I can only imagine what Jet fans would chant if that happened. But yes, I'd imagine he's still going to be cryogenically frozen for the foreseeable
Yeah,
future.
we like last year when he ran onto the field after the fourth play or whatever,
Oh, yes.
we were just in all shock. We weren't
Oh,
like booing
absolutely.
like how the Giant fans were doing at the beginning of the season this year. Like
Right.
we were just all in shock. It was the Patriots home game where we were booing. And then for the Philadelphia Eagles game when we played them, all the games when they announce the players and all that, it's always been the defense, minus the 9/11 game. It's always been the defense because that's who we cheer for and whatnot. The Philly game, they literally forced us to cheer for Zach because they had the offense come out and he was the last one to come out. Hey man, we won that game, whatever. It just felt weird, man.
Yeah.
Now, like if we were to ever see him come on, man, the boo birds will definitely come out because it was just pain, man, these last
Mm.
3 years. Just the feeling we're feeling right now, this is something that we should have felt last year. We were robbed, man. This feeling of
Yes.
happiness, this feeling of confidence, we should have had this last year. But guess what? We got it now, man. We got it
Mhm.
now, and it's only going to get better. So I just wanted to, if you don't mind, man, just give me 2 more minutes.
Of
I just
course. Yeah.
want to,
Yeah. Please.
we know who the child is. I just want to address the
All right.
baby Allen.
Oh boy.
He gave some pleasantries, said some good stuff for what it's worth, man. Like out of all this social media stuff and whatnot, He is the person that talks and asks about how my wife is doing the most out of anybody.
Oh, that's
So,
nice.
I'll give him his props for that, the respect for that and whatnot.
But
Besides that, man, Alan, people, the same people that I know that got my phone number. If you ever need something, if you ever want to talk to me, ever want to air me out, hit up my phone. Don't do this internet stuff because I don't play with the internet stuff. All right, I'm 40, same age as Rodgers. All right, so I don't know how to act. The only way I know how to act is by talking. And if you got a problem with me being positive, that's fine. But you can't be the same dude getting mad when we doing the right things, man. When you get mad last year, when you got mad at all of us last year, when we beat the Patriots because you wanted your boy Joe Alt, who's doing horribly right now and who's out with an MCL sprain, and you get mad about us winning that game, you fool. You get mad at us, you fool, for winning, and then you want to go back to this stuff. You want to talk about records and everything like that. You want to talk about, oh man, oh this and that, blah blah this, blah blah that. Man, shut the hell up. You a damn fool. You a clown. You want to talk about Sal's record, talk about wins and losses, but you wanted him to lose. So where is it? You're playing both sides of the fence. To lose when it's good for you, so you can root for Joe All getting on our team. He's a bum. You watch that Pittsburgh game, your boy got cooked. I don't wish injuries on nobody, but your boy is out right now, and you don't look good. Your other boy, Allen, Josh Allen, who you like more than Rodgers, you a fool, man. Allen, you a fool. You want to keep talking bad about the team? You want to praise Josh Allen? You want to praise the weapons, so-called weapons that Josh Allen has on the Bills? They're all bums, man. Don't you ever start talking that smack. We for real, man. 2-1. San Fran, whatever. You saw what happened to them. We're gonna beat that ass in Denver. When they come, it's an easy dub. And if you don't say that, if you don't say this is easy work, you a fool, man. I don't play those games. And I don't play this internet stuff either. You got a problem with me, you talk to me. Hit me up on the side. You know the people that you can contact to get to my number. And you know where I work. You're welcome anytime.
There he is, Chef Kevin Gilbert. Boy, let's give him a proper one of these, baby. Maybe not. Hope. I'm not hearing anything. Let me.
Number 5.
Oh, there we go. And then Jets chant one more time. There we go, baby. Sorry for the delay. Chef Kevin Gilbert. Ooh, cooking. Okay. Oh boy, Alan caught some bullets. Okay. All right. Okay. Lively. The chat is lively. You love to see it. Let's go back to the phone lines, baby. That'll be tough to follow up, but who better to do it than our chiseled David statue Goliath, NY Jets FL. What's up, baby?
Good morning, Paul. Chef Kevin seems like a very mellow guy too. I think to get him off his his position is he really ruffled his feathers a little. Basically.
Yeah, I know. And shout out here, I see DeFore11, aka Uncle T on New York Sports. By the way, Chef Kevin will be the special guest on DeFore11 on New York Sports on Friday, October 18th. If you want to see some more of that heat, so make sure you guys go over on YouTube. You guys can subscribe now so you don't miss any of those episodes. DeFore11 on New York Sports with Uncle T.O., Johnny Boy, and company. So guys, check that out. But oh boy, yeah, you're right. It's those quiet people that Chevin's just a nice guy. He's just fine. Then all of a sudden, to get him to get to that level, what in God's green earth is Allen doing? Good Lord.
Let me say this about Josh Allen, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen is like Mahomes. He basically elevates his players. You can put pieces in the offense, and he will elevate them. The problem is going to come when they have to play somebody where the defense has to shut them down, and that's what Murdoch brought up.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? I'm not on a lot of sleep, Paul, because of the hurricane situation. The guy from quarterback from Jacksonville.
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Right. Okay. So Trevor Lawrence had 190 yards of passing the first 2 games. 2 games, he had basically under 100 yards passing. That team was horrendous going into that game. So there's a huge asterisk attached to that. That team was not good playing well going into that game. They spotted the Cardinals 17 points the first game. And I know, I know there's rust and I know all that stuff. But they haven't exactly lit it up against a good team. Now you can play Baltimore. I mean, Baltimore, they limped into the. I mean, they found a way to win. Maybe they build on it. But I think this is the first test for the Bills this week. Finally, this is their really first true test to see how how good they really are. And hopefully they come crashing back to earth. Like everyone says, NFL week to week. They played a week. They played a week schedule. They played a week schedule. Let's see them play the good teams, and we'll see how they react to that. But I like our chances, Paul. I like your sarcasm. You don't know how good Denver is. You play the reverse psychology role, and we come in there and steamroll them because Bo Nix, look what we did to Will Levis. If we don't allow Bo Nix to scramble, we'll be good. They basically keep him in the pocket. I wouldn't blitz him that much because I don't want him to run unless he's spying.
Sure, right. Yes.
Spy him.
Yeah, that might be the better place because if you blitz him and he breaks your ground zero and everyone else is playing man, they're not looking at Bo Nix. They're looking a different direction and he could get some extra scramble yards. No, that's a good point.
Yeah, so Alan, if you want to gloat after the Ravens game, if they beat the Ravens, 34-7 like they did they did Jacksonville or something like that. You can come in here and gloat, but I don't think that game is going to be anywhere near that score. It's going to be a tight game. So, anyway, I'll let you be, Paul. Me on 3 hours of sleep doesn't go very well. So, you have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.
That's for sure. And well wishes, by the way, to all the people in Florida, as NY Jets FL said, dealing with a hurricane coming in. We're thinking about you guys. There's no question about it. Definitely. Make sure you guys stay safe. And look at that, baby. Uncle Tia with a 5-piece combo. One of my favorites when you go to McSpanky's is 5 memberships. Let's count them out, baby. Yes, a 5-piece combination. One of my absolute favorites, baby. Let's read the 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to Uncle Tio for spreading the good love. And before I read those members, actually, let me quickly switch up our Johnny Boy member countdown here, which takes us now to 44 members away, a special number here in Syracuse, of course, honoring all the legendary number 44s in Syracuse history of Jim Brown, Ernie Davis, Floyd Little, Larry Zonka, and so many others. Let's read those new 5 members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. All right, 1 second here. We'll see if the old YouTube internet will catch up here so I can read those here in just a moment. But we will have the 5 members to the Boy Green Coffee Club to reveal here in just a moment. Shout out to DeFore11. Again, we are 44 members away from there. Here we go. Finally, YouTube caught up here. Here are our new 5 members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Kyle Smith, Ryan King, Jets for Life, Mr. Juan Soto. You guys are members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. And also J-Boy is the final member. That is your 5 members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to Uncle Tio, a.k.a. Door411 on New York Sports. We're getting closer and closer for Johnny Boy. Chip, chip, baby. Chip, chip. Love to get that emoji there for Johnny. And yeah, Chef was fired up. That's good stuff. Good stuff from Chef. He's cooking up. Guys, by the way, for all the new members of the Boy Green Coffee Club, a couple of things. First off, you've been gifted a membership from Uncle Tio. That was very nice of Tio. You guys get a 1-month trial. You 5 people and also the individual Chance who got a membership earlier. Good memory, Paul. Good boy. Yeah. chance earlier, all of you 6 members that have joined us today, you have a loyalty badge, which is going to stand out your comments when I highlight them during the shows. You unlock all the cool custom emojis that Snowball's made for this channel. You guys hit that little emoji thing on comments, whether you're on desktop or your phone, and you can utilize those emojis. No one else can. And, of course, access to the Discord channel, which is something Jared B. already dropped in there. And that's where the party keeps going, well beyond the 7:30 shows or the 3 o'clock shows or Boy Green Meets Woody or what have you. We give you a heads up on guests coming up. We also get to expand the conversation and get personal, baby, and learn even more about each other, which is a lot of fun. It's a cool way to support the show and become a part of the fabric of this program, and perhaps put yourself in line to be a future emoji yourself, to be remembered forever among Jet fans. We're family here. We always try to take care of each other and have a good time. So that really is what it's all about. So if you guys have the capability, feel free to pay it forward and give to other memberships to other people. We keep this train rolling, and that's how we'll get Johnny Boy to his emoji, which again is 44 members away. Quick shout out, by the way. So shout out to everyone in the chat so far. We appreciate you. Tomorrow is Jets Broncos preview day. I'm going to have Phil Milani on Boy Green Daily live tomorrow morning. That's in less than 24 hours. He used to work for the Denver Broncos. Now he does his own thing. So now he can't be restricted by the man of Denver Broncos land. He can tell it to us straight. So I'm very much looking forward to that with Phil Milani. That'll be tomorrow morning at 7:30. At 3 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to have another Denver Broncos insider, an insider, quite frankly, I've never had the pleasure of speaking with, but I've heard wonderful things about him in Denver Broncos land. So that is John Heath. He will be joining me and Woody tomorrow at 3 o'clock. He does the Denver Broncos for the Broncos Wire, and he also does some great work for the Huddle as well. And you can also see some of his other stuff on social media. So he's been covering the Denver Broncos for a long time. So we'll have John Heath, and we'll also have Phil Milani. So double dip of Denver Broncos content to get you guys ready for Sunday, the 1 o'clock contest, which is right around the corner. So we got you guys covered on a week-to-week and day-to-day basis with all the latest content that you guys want to see. So again, pencil that in. Be ready for it. Again, we'll have some Jets Broncos coverage, double dipping tomorrow at 7:30 live in the morning and 3 o'clock live in the afternoon. Hopefully you guys can check that out with us. Thanks, everybody, for another awesome show, and a quick couple of shout-outs to several members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Taylor Sterling jumping in here. We appreciate you. Let me give some other shout-outs. Jared B's in here. Phil is in here. I just want Reddick to show up and fortify our defense, get Devontae at the trade deadline. Damn straight. Let's get some of that action, Phil. I see Hennessy Heisman, Allen in here, all our wonderful members. And wait a second, baby, FL Phil 98 jumping in. He's diving into the deep end of the pool. Let's get another membership. Ah, yeah, baby. Way to friggin' go, and shout out to our guy, FL Phil 98, who's spreading the good gospel. I see Terrence Hill in here as well. Beautiful. Greg Kolsmanberger, you have been gifted a Boy Green membership, which, by the way, let's update the banner here for old Johnny Boy. We're now 43 members away from old Johnny Boy getting his emoji. Again, for those who are new to YouTube or new to our space, you have to reach certain levels of members in the chat to not just subscribers, which are also cool. We're getting closer and closer to 7,000, by the way. We're about 50 people and change away from 7,000 subs, which is awesome. So shout out to you guys. And also the next level, so subscribing to the show so you never miss it. Excuse me. When you join the Boy Green Coffee Club, you're like the elite group inside the group. Okay, the 1% in the Hall of Fame of our guys that help support the show to an even greater level, and that's what we'll be getting here of chipping away. So 43 members away. Shout out to FL Phil 98 for spreading the love, baby. We appreciate it. That is wonderful. See, like Terrence Hill's in here. He's sharing his emoji. I love it. And that's a cool way for me is, again, once we reach certain levels of members, we can bring in new emojis to the table. That's how YouTube works, and it's awesome. So, yeah, I love it. And I love honoring you guys, the fans. You guys make it awesome. Absolutely great. Yes, let's shout out some more to 411 for sure. Dakota, Phil, Yo Holmes, David Aaron, Terrence Hill, all of them. All of you guys make the show extra special. Galatron's another really great one. I love Galatron too. He's been new to the channel and over the last couple of weeks. So shout out to everybody and thank you. And again, we will keep the party going in the Discord. If you'd like to get in the Discord, you have to be a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club to do it. We're also working on a new Boy Green Coffee Club shirt, which we have a link to the Boy Green merch store, always in the link in the description. But we're working on a cool Boy Green Coffee Club shirt. So hopefully you guys can check that out too. And again, if you want to become a member, it's super simple. It's also in the YouTube description. Join the Boy Green Coffee Club by clicking here. Boop! Only $2.99 a month, baby. Can't beat it. And you help support the show. Again, the more you guys can support in the show, the more I can give to the show. And I love this program. I love doing it every day. I love waking up and then I jump on over there. Let me see. So actually, someone asked a question here. The Meadowlands Swamp thing. How many members are there? That's a great question. I could give you that answer right now here on the show. Let's see. Let's go into the YouTube backlog here. All right. Let's see. Okay. Go over here to YouTube, scroll down. Got to go in the member section. Currently, wait for it. We have 300 members in the Boy Green Coffee Club right now. But obviously, those numbers shift. So right now, we have 300 members. At one point, we had 400 plus, but now we're down to 300 because, again, people can be gifted a membership. And they get it for a month. They get all the perks. And then after the month, they decide if they want to come back and start paying and being a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. They're like, nah, I'm good. And then they just leave. So right now, currently, we have 300 members, baby. So the more, the merrier. I love growing the army. I love growing the community, which is super important to me. So we guys can keep talking all things New York Jets. Shout out to Galatron, baby. Hell yeah. Keep up the great work, BG. Let's go, Jets. This is going to be a special season. And also what Terrence says, which is a free way all of you can contribute. If you can't join the show, if you can't join the membership, you just don't have the finances, which is fine. If you guys can't afford it, I totally understand. The free way everyone can contribute is by liking the video and hitting subscribe, baby. It sounds simple, sounds easy, because it is. You just do it every time you watch. If you like the show, it helps the YouTube algorithm and more things happening there. NY Jets DH. Go, Boy Green. You're the man. No fear the Buffalo Bills. Damn straight. Screw the Bills, baby. We'll have some Bills representation when we get ready for that one as well. And Jay asked, any new reports about Reddick's representation? No, I've had no update, but I'll continue to look for that. And if we have any updates, obviously we'll share them in the Discord and also, of course, here on Boy Green Daily if new ones come in. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Like I said, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. And just as Galatron says here, the more likes, the more YouTube overlords push the show to new viewers, which is absolutely true from Galatron, baby. So, yes, let's keep spreading the love. We'll be back, of course, on the show tomorrow morning at 7:30. Thanks, everybody. Take care.